The night was dark and silent, the kind where even the slightest sound could send a shiver down your spine. In a grand castle nestled in the heart of Hungary, the air was thick with tension. The year was 1204, and King Imre lay on his deathbed, his breath shallow and labored. Beside him, his young son Laszlo III, barely old enough to understand the weight of the crown placed upon his head, looked on with wide, fearful eyes. Imre, once a powerful and decisive ruler, had been a man of action. He had faced numerous challenges during his reign, from the heretical Bogomils in the Balkans to the treacherous Nemanjic of Serbia. He had even managed to capture lands from Kaloyan's Bulgaria, and brought Kilian of Bosnia under his suzerainty. But his greatest challenge came from within his own family. His brother Andras had rebelled more than once, and each time Imre had managed to quell the uprising. The last time, however, was different. As the two armies met, Imre approached Andras's camp alone, wearing his crown and holding the scepter, a powerful symbol of his authority. It was a risky move, but it worked. Andras, reminded of his brother's rightful place as king, surrendered. Now, as Imre's life flickered out like a candle in the wind. The kingdom he had fought so hard to protect was on the brink of chaos. The moment Imre took his final breath, Andras, ever the opportunist, seized power. Queen Constance, Imre's widow, knew she had to act quickly. She gathered her young son, Laszlo, and fled to Austria, seeking refuge, but their journey was cut short. Laszlo, the boy king, died in 1205, leaving Andras II as the unchallenged ruler of Hungary. Andras II, now king, faced his own set of challenges. The kingdom's borders were vulnerable, and the Teutonic Knights, whom he had invited to protect against Cuman invasions, had established their own independent territory. Andras's attempts to secure Halych, a valuable region to the east, were met with betrayal. Volodymyr III, a cunning neighbor, bribed Andras to leave, only to capture Halych himself. It took until 1208 for Andras to finally secure Halych, installing the young Prince Danilo as its ruler. But the troubles at home were far from over. The boyars, powerful nobles within the kingdom, were outraged by Andras's generosity towards his wife's family and friends. Tensions boiled over, and in 1213, conspirators murdered Andras's queen while he was away in Nicaea. Though Andras caught the conspirators, he only executed their leader, a decision that would haunt his son Bela for years to come. Andras's second marriage to Yolanda, a niece of Henry I of the Latin Empire, brought new hope but also new challenges. He had hoped to inherit the territory through his marriage, but his father-in-law, Peter of Courtenay, was declared emperor instead. Undeterred, Andras fulfilled his father's promise and went on a crusade, returning with relics but failing to capture any cities. His journey back was fraught with danger, as he narrowly escaped assassination attempts by his cousins in Nicaea. When he returned, he found his kingdom in disarray. Andras's reign was marked by constant battles and shifting alliances. He fought to keep Halych, only to lose it to Poland and then regain it. His son, Konevs, was made Prince of Halych, but was expelled in 1226, and Hungarian rule in the region ended in 1234. The kingdom's internal strife continued to grow, with Andras's older sons, Bela and Konevs, harboring deep resentment towards their father's new wife and her influence. The stage was set for a new chapter in Hungary's tumultuous history, one that would be shaped by the next generation of rulers and their struggles to maintain the kingdom's fragile peace. Matthias, the young king of Hungary, faced many challenges. The Ottomans threatened his eastern border, the Venetians loomed to the south, and both Emperor Friedrich III to the west and Casimir IV of Poland to the north claimed his throne. To protect his kingdom, Matthias formed the Black Army, a powerful mercenary force. In 1458, he invaded Serbia and reasserted Hungarian rule over Bosnia. Despite the boyars' noble landowners plotting against him, Emperor Friedrich rejected their offer of the throne and recognized Matthias as the rightful king of Hungary. Matthias allied with Wallachia against the Ottomans, but spent the money Rome sent for the crusade. He then forged a letter, saying Vlad the Impaler had offered support to the Ottomans. This allowed Matthias to imprison Vlad, recover Bosnia, and was rewarded with the Holy Crown in 1464. Pope Paul II excommunicated Huss Liturgiri of Podbrady when he became king of Bohemia and asked neighboring princes to depose him. Matthias was busy in Moldavia, and was defeated and wounded at the Battle of Baia in 1467. Eventually, Matthias invaded Bohemia and was elected king in 1469, while Podbrady died soon after. Matthias stopped a rebellion aimed at placing Casimir on the Polish throne, but the Poles retaliated by attacking Bohemia. The Hungarian army built a strong camp and forced a peace treaty in Breslau-Wroclaw in 1475. Under this treaty, Matthias recognized Laszlo as king of Bohemia in exchange for Moravia, Silesia, and Lusatia. He then attacked Emperor Friedrich and forced him to accept peace. When the emperor failed to pay the war indemnity, Matthias attacked again. He defeated an Ottoman army at the Battle of Bridfield in 1479, as it returned from raiding Transylvania. The death of Sultan Mehmed II in 1481 provided some relief from the Ottoman threat, but Matthias took Sultan Sem hostage. However, Pope Sixtus IV and the Venetians would not let Matthias deal with Sem, missing an opportunity to end the Ottoman threat. Matthias's final campaign was against Austria, and he captured Vienna in 1485, becoming their king. Despite his many victories, Matthias could not have children with Queen Beatrice, and she prevented him from making his illegitimate son, John, his heir. Matthias died in 1490, crippled by gout and without a clear successor. Meanwhile, the Principality of Wallachia, formed after the Mongol invasion, ruined Hungary. The voivode warlord Litovoi refused to pay tribute to Laszlo IV and was killed in battle in 1285. His brother Barbat was imprisoned until he recognized Hungarian rule. When Hungary forced Wallachian nobles to convert to Roman Catholicism in 1289, Radu the Black founded Wallachia between the Carpathian Mountains and the Danube. Basarab became a Hungarian vassal, but angered the king by marrying his daughter into the Bulgarian royal family, and then allying with Bulgaria against Serbia. He ambushed King Karoli at the Battle of Posada in 1330, and the Hungarian king barely escaped. This led to an independent Wallachia, with Basarab as its founder. Lajos of Hungary's first action after succeeding Karoli in 1342 was to invade Wallachia. Nicholas Alexander became voivode in 1352, becoming a Hungarian vassal, returning captured lands, and allowing the Roman Catholic Church to establish missions in Wallachia. Vladislav I, whose name meant to rule with glory, was crowned in 1364 and became a vassal to both Hungary and Bulgaria. Radu accepted the situation, but his son Dan went to war with Bulgaria and was killed in 1386. Mircea the Elder faced a new threat from the Ottoman Empire. He made a truce with Poland to secure his northern border, and then allied with Hungary and Bulgaria to face the common threat. Mircea defeated the Ottomans at the Battle of Ravine in 1395, but had to flee to Hungary when Vlad the Usurper was put on the throne. Wallachia and Hungary fought back, and although they were beaten at the Battle of Nicopolis, Mircea was restored to the throne. They defeated another Ottoman invasion in 1402, and counterattacked during the anarchy following Bayezid's capture. Mircea helped Musa seize the Ottoman throne, and then bribed him to protect Wallachia. Mircea's son drove the Ottomans away as soon as he was crowned, but was killed when they returned in 1420. Civil war ensued, and Dan II proved to be the better commander, beating Radu II the empty head despite his Ottoman support. The throne changed hands 8 times in 7 years, and the anarchy ended when Radu died in 1427. Dan was killed when the Ottomans invaded in 1432, and another of Mircea's sons, Alexander I, died of illness soon after. Vlad II, Mircea's son, returned from exile and murdered members of the rival dynasty family to seize the throne in 1436. János Hunyadi of Hungary defeated Vlad, known as Drakul the Dragon, at the Battle of Maros-Centimer in 1442. Hunyadi placed Basarab II on the throne, and Vlad sought Ottoman support. He secured the Sultan's backing by promising tribute and a steady supply of Wallachian boys for the Janissary army. Vlad left his 2 sons, Vlad and Radu, as hostages in the Ottoman court. Radu converted to Islam and served the Sultan's son, while Vlad hated his father for leaving him and refused to cooperate. Vlad Drakul was able to retake the throne with Ottoman support, and took his revenge by burying Basarab alive. His son Mircea also returned from exile to attack the Ottomans, and while Vlad did not help, he ensured his sons were safe. Hunyadi invaded again, but the Ottomans defeated his army at the Battle of Varna in 1444. Vlad refused to help, and Hunyadi was blamed for the defeat. In 1447, Hunyadi's supporters captured Murcia, blinded him, and buried him alive. They then murdered Vlad II and placed Vladislav II on the Wallachian throne. Young Vlad did not give up and reconquered Wallachia in July 1456, killing Vladislav II in hand-to-hand combat. He executed many boyars, blaming them for Wallachia's poor state, and replaced them with loyal subjects. When Ottoman envoys came to collect overdue tribute, Vlad made his point by nailing their turbans to their heads. He ambushed the first Ottoman invasion and impaled all the prisoners, with their leader Hamza Pasha on the highest stake. Vlad's Wallachians continued to strike back over the winter of 1462, including the night attack where 15,000 Ottomans were killed. Vlad's brother Radu led the Ottoman Janissaries on another raid and besieged Ponari, where Vlad's wife was hiding. When an archer shot a message into the castle reporting Vlad's death, she threw herself into the moat rather than be captured. However, Vlad was still alive, and Radu turned back when he found 20,000 impaled corpses outside Targovis. Pope Pius II sent money to Mantius Corvinus to fight the Ottomans, but Vlad discovered Corvinus had already spent it. Corvinus forged a letter claiming Vlad proposed peace with the Ottomans and arrested him in 1462, accusing him of high treason. Mehmed II made Radu Bey of Wallachia and took the boyars' families hostage. Radu lost the Sultan's support in 1473, and Mehmed appointed Basarab the Old, starting a civil war. The two exchanged power several times before Radu died in 1475. A free Vlad III seized the throne but was assassinated soon after, and his head was sent to Constantinople. A prolonged civil war followed, with Basarab the Old, Basarab the Young the Little Impaler, and Vlad IV the monk being elected and re-elected multiple times. The Principality of Moldavia, according to legend, was founded by the warlord Dragos. He claimed the area east of the Carpathian Mountains, with the Dniester River to the east, the Danube River to the southwest, and the Black Sea to the southeast. Dragos ruled in the name of Lajos I of Hungary after 1352, and was succeeded by Sas. 11 years later, Bogdan entered the region and rebelled against Hungarian rule, defeating Balk, son of Sas. He declared independence and was known as the founder of Moldavia. Latuk succeeded Bogdan in 1365 and converted to Catholicism to gain equal status with the Polish and Hungarian kings. Unfortunately, Pope Gregory XI's first act was to tell him he could not divorce his infertile wife, leaving him without an heir. Yuri Koryatovich was invited to rule but was poisoned, so Latuk's grandson Petru became voivode and made Moldavia a Polish fief. Roman I became voivode in 1393 and supported Prince Fyodor of Podolia against Ladislaw II of Poland and Vatatzes of Lithuania. He was defeated at Braclaw in 1394, and both his sons, Stefan and Hugo the Crippled, died soon after. A third brother, Alexandru, allied with Poland against Hungary and fought alongside Jagela during the defeat of the Teutonic Knights at Grunwald-Tannenberg in 1410 and at Marienburg in 1422. He also supported Radu II and Alexandru during the Wallachian civil wars. Jagela defaulted on the vassal agreement when the Ottomans invaded Moldavia in 1420, so Alexandru retaliated in 1431 while Poland was embroiled in the Lithuanian Civil War. Peace was restored with the Treaty of Suceava. Alexandru's son Ilias renewed Moldavia's vassalage to Poland, but his illegitimate half-brother, Stefan, offered land to Ladislaw II and sought help from Vlad II of Wallachia to take the throne. Ilias was imprisoned until his Polish supporters convinced their new king, Ladislaw III, to withdraw support for Stefan in favor of Moldavia's legitimate heir. The half-brothers fought until Ladislaw intervened after the indecisive Battle of Podraga in 1435. Ilias and Stefan II shared power until Ilias breached the agreement in 1443. He was blinded and imprisoned, and his wife Maria fled to Poland with her sons. Stefan ruled with another illegitimate brother, Petru II, until Ilias's son Roman murdered Petru in 1447. Petru and Roman then ruled together until Roman was forced to flee to Krakow. Bogdan II was ruler for only 2 years before he was beheaded by his stepbrother, Petru Aaron, at a wedding in Rossini in 1451. His son Stephen was lucky to escape, and was forced to take refuge in Citadia Alba Castle in 1455. Petru succeeded him, and became a vassal to Poland to secure his northern border, and paid the Ottomans tribute to secure his southern border. The Moldavian Civil War continued, and Petru was eventually forced to flee to Poland, while Stephen became voivode in 1457 with Wallachian help. Stephen III, known as the Great and Holy, submitted to Casimir IV so he could enter Poland to find him, which ended with Petru's execution 10 years later. Stephen's troubles were far from over. He had to defeat Matthias Corvinus's Hungarian army at Baia in 1467, and a Tatar invasion at Lipnik in 1471. 4 years later, the Ottomans invaded, and while Stephen won the Battle of Vaslui in 1475, Mehmed II defeated him at Valia Alba the following year. An outbreak of plague in the Ottoman camp forced them to retreat. Stephen helped oust the Muslim Radu the Handsome and installed Basarab the Old on the Wallachian throne, hoping it would return to Christianity. But Basarab turned to the Ottomans for protection, so Stephen replaced him with Vlad the Monk in 1482. Mehmed's son, Bayezid, renewed attacks into Europe, and the Moldavians had to defeat the Ottomans at Katlabuga Lake in 1485 and Shea in 1486. Stephen had raised Moldavia to the height of its power during his 47-year reign. The Second Bulgarian Empire began after the Byzantine Empire conquered the First Bulgarian Empire in 1018. Brothers Theodore and Ivan Asen asked Emperor Isakios II to reduce taxes, but Ivan was slapped when the emperor refused. The brothers returned home, and Theodore was crowned Peter IV the Glorious in 1185, the first king of the Second Bulgarian Empire. The empire was on the south bank of the river Danube, with Hungary, later Wallachia, to the north, Serbia to the west, and the Black Sea to the east. Its biggest threats were from the Cuman hordes to the north, and the Byzantine Empire to the south. The Third Crusade passed through the area in 1187, and Peter offered help to Friedrich when relations between the Byzantines and the Crusaders soured. The ailing king was succeeded by Ivan I, who started a rumor that the Cumans were about to attack when Emperor Isakios II invaded Bulgaria. He then ambushed the Byzantines as they withdrew through the mountains, and Isakios barely escaped with his life. Ivan punished Ivanko for having an affair with his sister-in-law, and the general retaliated by murdering the king and trying to take control of the country. Ivan's brother, Peter, forced Ivanko to flee to the Byzantines, but Ivanko soon returned and murdered Peter. Kaloyan allied with Ivanko, and they took control of Bulgaria, but faced an invasion by Hungary. Pope Innocent III made peace between the two countries and gave Kaloyan an imperial crown and scepter, hoping to unite the Bulgarian Church with Rome. The Byzantines asked Kaloyan for help when the Fourth Crusade sacked Constantinople in 1204, and his Cuman allies ambushed the Crusaders, imprisoning Emperor Baudouin of the Latin Empire. Kaloyan would dismember Baudouin after his wife falsely accused him of propositioning her. Kaloyan's forces defeated the Latin Empire at Serres in 1206 and Rugian in 1207. They captured Thrace and Macedonia, but failed to take Adrianople. Kaloyan turned on the Byzantines when they conspired against his rule, and became known as the Roman Slayer. Kaloyan allied with Theodoro's Eye of Nicaea against the Latin Empire, and then killed Bonifacio of Montferrat, ruler of Thessalonica. However, Kaloyan was assassinated by his Cuman commander during the siege of Thessalonica. Borel was crowned in 1207, and some suspected him of ordering Kaloyan's murder, especially when he married Kaloyan's Cuman widow. The following year, Emperor Henry de Flanders defeated Borel at Plovdiv, and northern Thrace fell to the Latins. Borel handed over Belgrade to get Hungarian help when the Cumans rebelled. When Henry died in 1216, Andros II of Hungary left to join the Fifth Crusade, leaving Borel without support. Borel's cousin Ivan returned from exile, captured Borel, blinded him, and imprisoned him in a monastery. Ivan Asen II set about recovering the lands Borel had given away. He married Anna Maria to reclaim territories along the Danube from Hungary, and married his daughter to Theodoros of Epirus's brother. But Theodoros reconquered Thessalonica, captured Adrianople, threatened Constantinople, and then invaded Bulgaria in 1230. Theodorus was blinded, and his lands were conquered. The Latin emperor, Robert de Courtenay, died in 1228, and Jean of Brienne was made guardian and co-emperor with young Baudouin II, breaking another of Ivan's alliances. Ivan married his daughter Alina to Iones III of Nicaea's son, Theodorus, in 1235, and they campaigned together against the Latin Empire. Jean of Brienne died 2 years later, and Ivan suggested marrying his daughter to Baudouin II to gain control of the Latin Empire. He kidnapped Alina from her husband and was attacking Nicaea when he heard his wife, one of his children, and the Patriarch of Tarnovo had died. He took the deaths as a sign from God, broke off the siege, and sent Alina back to her husband. Ivan's final battle was against the Mongols in 1241 as they passed through Bulgaria, heading home to elect a new Khan. In the 13th century, Bulgaria faced a series of challenges that threatened its stability and power. When the regent of young Kalaman abused his authority, Bulgaria lost its influence over Thessalonica and Serbia. The Mongols, seeing an opportunity, returned to the region. However, promises of annual tribute from the Bulgarians prevented the Mongols from devastating the country. In 1246, Kalaman died, possibly from poisoning, and his younger brother, Michael II, ascended the throne. Michael, being young, was heavily influenced by his mother, Irene. This weakened the kingdom, and Hungary, Nicaea, and Epirus took advantage by capturing large swaths of Bulgarian territory. The Bulgarians managed to regain some lands from Nicaea, when Iones III died in 1254. However, Michael was injured while escaping through a forest during a counterattack by Emperor Theodore II. To rebuild his strength, Michael formed an alliance with the Cumans and married a daughter of Prince Rostislav of Russia. Rostislav negotiated a truce with Nicaea in 1256, but the Bulgarian nobles soon rallied around Michael's cousin, Kalaman. Kalaman II murdered Michael during a hunting trip, married Michael's widow, and took the throne. However, when Prince Rostislav advanced on Tarnovo, Kalaman fled and was later assassinated. Rostislav claimed the title of emperor and returned to Russia with his daughter. However, Michael's brother-in-law, Mitso, seized the throne in 1256. Bulgaria's nobles were dissatisfied with Mitso's campaign against Nicaea, and they rebelled, proclaiming Constantine their new emperor in 1257. Mitso fled to Nicaea, offering lands to Emperor Michael VIII in exchange for asylum. Constantine focused on repelling Hungarian attacks, while Michael VIII deposed and blinded the Nicaean Emperor Iones IV in 1261. In retaliation, Constantine helped the Mongols raid Byzantine territory. He later married Michael VIII's niece Maria to restore peace, but disputes over the dowry soured their relationship. Michael VIII married his illegitimate daughter, Euphrosyne, to the Mongol leader Nogai Khan, and joined forces to invade Bulgaria in 1274. Constantine's troubles increased when he was severely injured after falling off his horse. Maria's poor management of the kingdom during his illness led to a peasant uprising in 1277. Constantine was killed in battle, and a pig farmer named Ivalo the Radish seized control of the kingdom. Initially, Michael VIII offered his daughter Irene to Ivalo, but he changed his mind when he became concerned about Ivalo's rule. Instead, he betrothed Irene to Mitso's son, Ivan III, who was in Constantinople. Michael VIII sought to place Ivan on the throne and found support from George Tudor. George divorced his first wife, Maria, and sent her and their son to Constantinople to confirm Byzantine support. He then married Ivan's sister, Maria. Ivalo, in response, married Michael VIII's mother, Maria, to oppose them. Maria soon discovered that her son had been right to distrust Ivalo, as he was an abusive husband. Ivalo successfully repelled a Byzantine invasion, but was later trapped in Drastar by the Mongols. Rumors of his death led the nobles to crown Ivan as emperor. However, Ivalo was still alive, and managed to prevent the Byzantines from rescuing Ivan from the capital. Ivan and Irene fled to Constantinople in 1280, leaving George Tudor to seize the throne. The Mongols killed Ivalo when he sought their help and refused to assist Ivan, leaving him to die in exile. George Tudor allied with Sicily, but Charles was too busy with the War of Sicilian Vespers to help Bulgaria fight off a Mongol attack. Instead, George engaged his daughter Anna to Euros II to gain Serbian support. When Emperor Michael VIII died, George sent his second wife to Constantinople in exchange for his first wife, to secure support from Andronicus II. Despite his efforts, the Mongols invaded Bulgaria for a third time in 1285. George was forced to marry his daughter to the Nogai Khan's son, Chaka, and hand his son over as a hostage for the second time. The raids stopped when the Nogai Khan appointed Smilik as Tsar of Bulgaria in 1292. George went to Constantinople, but Andronicus refused to help him, and he was exiled to Anatolia. Smilik's reign was marked by unsuccessful wars against the Byzantine Empire, and unrest was brewing within the Mongol hordes. Takhta of the Golden Horde defeated and killed Nogai in 1299, and his son Chaka headed into Bulgaria, taking his wife, Elena, and his brother-in-law, the exiled Theodore, with him. Theodore convinced the Bulgarians to accept Chaka as their ruler, and Smilik disappeared. In 1300, Takhta besieged Tarnovo looking for Chaka, so Theodore strangled him and sent his head to the Khan to make peace. The Mongols withdrew, and Theodore was crowned emperor. He punished those who opposed him and defeated the Byzantines at the Battle of Scaffida, forcing co-emperor Michael IX to flee. The war ended with Theodore marrying Michael's daughter, Theodora, in 1307. He also negotiated his father's release, and George was settled in a life of luxury. The teenage George II was crowned emperor in 1321, but died a year later. Andronikos III took the opportunity to recapture Thrace from his successor, Mihail Sisman. Mihail re-entered the area in 1324, but refused Andronikos' offer to settle ownership through a duel. Mihail divorced his Serbian wife, Anna Neda, and married Theodora, the widow of Emperor Theodore, to make peace. Mihail became involved in a Byzantine civil war in 1327, hoping to capture Constantinople by surprise, but Andronikos was warned and sent the troops back. Mihail's ex-wife, Anna, asked her brother Euros to fight for her honor, but he was busy fighting his cousin Vladislav II for the Serbian throne. Instead, Mihail invaded Serbia in 1330 and met the Serbian army at Velbasht, expecting Andronikos to join him. They agreed on a one-day truce, but the Serbians attacked as soon as their reinforcements arrived, defeating the Bulgarians. Mihail was mortally wounded, and Anna was sent to Tarnovo so that her son Ivan could be proclaimed emperor. Mihail's second wife, Theodora, took her sons to Constantinople, and Andronikos abandoned his war with Serbia to attack Bulgaria and reclaim his nephew's inheritance. The Byzantines invaded Thrace, sparking a coup in 1331, and Anna and Ivan fled to Serbia. Ivan's sister, Helena, was married to Euros IV to seal an alliance with Serbia. They defeated the Byzantine army and captured Andronikos, with the help of Mongol mercenaries, at the Battle of Rusa Castro in 1332. The betrothal of Ivan's son, Mihail, to Andronikos' daughter, Maria, sealed their alliance. Ivan demanded the extradition of Mihail's son Shisman from Constantinople in 1340, but the Byzantines sent a fleet to raid the Danube Delta. The Bulgarians immediately countered, but were defeated near Adrianople, as the Black Death ravaged their kingdom. Ivan sided with Iones V in his Byzantine civil war with Iones VI, but both his sons were killed in battle. Iones VI immediately asked for Serbian and Bulgarian help against the Ottomans when the war was over, and Ivan's daughter Karaka was married to Iones' son, Andronikos IV, to seal the alliance. Unfortunately for Ivan, Iones VI abdicated in favor of Iones V soon after. Hungary invaded because Bulgaria refused to become a vassal, and Ivan was captured. His people were forced to accept Roman Catholicism in 1365. Ivan Alexander died in 1371, and his second wife, Sarah Theodora, ensured that Ivan Sisman was crowned. However, Ivan Esratsimir declared himself a rival emperor. Ivan Sisman refused to help when the Ottomans invaded Serbia, but Bulgaria was their next target, and Ivan had to submit to Murad I in 1373. The marriage of Ivan Sisman's daughter, Kira Tamara, to Murad I secured peace until the Ottomans captured Sofia in 1385. Serbia and Bosnia defeated the Ottomans at the Battle of Plochnik in 1387, so Ivan Sisman decided to stop sending tribute. Murad invaded to demand his money and besieged Ivan in Nikopol. Ivan Esratsimir refused to rescue him. The Serbs and Bosnians were defeated at the Battle of Kosovo in 1389, and Ivan looked to Hungary for help. Bayezid I feigned peace to prevent Hungary from joining forces with Bulgaria. The Ottomans then devastated Bulgaria in 1393, captured Ivan Sisman, and he died in captivity. Ivan S. Ratzimir joined Hungarian King Sigismund's crusade, but was defeated at the Battle of Nicopolis in 1396, and died in captivity. Ivan S. Ratzimir's son, Constantine II, allied with Serbia and Wallachia, but failed to take advantage of the civil war in the Ottoman Empire. Sultan Musa brought the final area of Bulgaria under Ottoman rule in 1413. Constantine supported Musa's brother and rival, Mehmed I, in his bid for the throne and was allowed to keep Bulgaria when Mehmed became sultan. Constantine died while living at the Serbian court in 1422, bringing the Second Bulgarian Empire to an end. In the heart of the 15th century, Bosnia found itself in a tumultuous period of power struggles and foreign invasions. Ostoja, a claimant to the Bosnian throne, attacked the Hungarian-controlled city of Dubrovnik in 1403 to assert his authority. However, the barons quickly turned against him, forcing him to flee to Hungary. In the chaos, Tvrt-Ko II, the son of the former ruler Tvrt-Ko, was appointed as Ban of Bosnia. Ostoja, however, refused to step down, leading to a war between Sigismund, king of Hungary, and Laszlo, a claimant to the Hungarian throne. Sigismund emerged victorious in 1408, and to quell the rebellion, he executed 170 Bosnian noblemen by throwing them from the walls of Dabaj. Despite this, Sigismund restored Ostoja to the throne, though Ostoja found himself without any support. Meanwhile, a young man named Tomas was appointed Ban. His mother, Kujava, ensured that Jelena, a rival claimant, was imprisoned and likely murdered. Ostoja faced opposition from his half-brother, Radovaj, but Tvrt-Ko II, with the support of the Ottoman Empire, seized power in 1421. Radovaj eventually sought refuge at the Ottoman court, but the Ottomans withdrew their support, preferring a divided Bosnia. Tvrt-Ko II, now in power, signed a trade treaty with Venice, but had to pay off the Ottomans to prevent their raids. Kujava, still seeking to influence the throne, failed to place Vuk Banik as Ban. Tvrt-Ko II sought an alliance with Hungary against the Ottomans, but Sigismund demanded that Tvrt-Ko make his father-in-law, Herman, his heir. Tvrt-Ko reluctantly agreed, and with this, Vuk's claim to the throne was nullified. Both Tvrt-Ko and Vuk died shortly after, and Tvrt-Ko's half-brother, Tomas, was appointed as Ban. However, Tomas's reign was marked by conflict. When he married Vajaka, a woman of low status, the barons rebelled. Tomas was forced to divorce her after she gave birth to a son. Bosnia was unable to assist Hungary during another Ottoman invasion, and in 1444, King W. Ladislaw of Hungary was killed at the Battle of Varna. The young Laszlo V became King of Hungary, and his regent Janos Hunyadi recognized Tomas as Ban. To secure his position, Tomas converted to Roman Catholicism. The civil war ended when Tomas married Katerina, the daughter of a senior Bosnian noble. Serbian kings Durad and Lazar died in quick succession, and Tomas seized their land. He arranged for his son, Temesvik, to marry Lazar's young daughter, Jelena, in 1459. When the Ottomans invaded again, Temesvik fled to Bosnia and was accused of betraying the Serbs by handing over the keys to Smederevo fortress to the Ottomans. However, the Serb garrison had actually surrendered to the Ottomans in exchange for religious tolerance. Tomas sought help from Pope Pius II against the Ottomans, but the Pope demanded that Tomas first crush the Bogomils, a heretical sect. Tomas was murdered in 1461, and Temesvik was crowned, becoming the only Bosnian monarch to receive a crown from Rome. However, he had to pay Hungary to support him. Vladislav Herzegovich, a rival noble, invited the Ottomans to invade Bosnia during a civil war. Temesvik defiantly told the Ottoman ambassador that he would rather use his wealth to defend his kingdom than surrender it. An enraged sultan Mehmed invaded in 1463, capturing both Temesvik and his brother, Radovaj. Despite a promise to spare their lives, Mehmed beheaded Temesvik, Radovaj, and their cousin Estijapan. Bosnia fell within weeks, and the royal family's nephews were taken to Constantinople. Queen Katerina campaigned in Italy for the restoration of the Bosnian kingdom, but was unsuccessful. Mehmed appointed Matija as a puppet king of Bosnia in 1465, but Nicole of Ilok led the opposition with support from Laszlo of Hungary and Emperor Friedrich III. Nicole was named the titular king of Bosnia in 1471, even though the Ottomans controlled the region. He was succeeded by Damian Horvat, but the Sultan's next choice, Matija Vajsalic, was deposed around 1476 for conspiring with Hungary. In the neighboring lands of Serbia, the kingdom had a complex history of its own. Serbia, bordered by the Adriatic Sea to the west, Hungary to the north, and Bulgaria to the east, was a region of constant power struggles. When Stefan, the Serbian ruler, died, he divided his principality among his 5 sons, leading to chaos. Mihailo, one of the sons, was appointed Knez in 1050, and married the niece of Byzantine Emperor Constantinos IX to secure peace. Bulgaria sought Mihailo's help against the Byzantines, offering the Bulgarian throne to his young son Baden. However, Baden was captured in 1073, and the alliance fell apart. Mihailo improved relations with the West, and was granted a royal title in 1077, turning Dukalja into a kingdom. Baden, rescued by Venetian sailors, supported the Byzantine attack on the Normans at Durazzo in 1081, but did nothing when the Normans seized the city. He married a Norman nobleman's daughter, and backed Pope Urban to gain Rome's support. However, Queen Jacqueventa executed, murdered, and exiled all claimants to the throne, plunging Dukalja into a civil war. The Byzantines recaptured Durazzo and defeated the Pecheneg hordes, then turned their attention to the Serbians in 1090. Vukan, the Grand Prince of Rascia, defeated the first Byzantine invasion, but sought peace when a larger army approached. Emperor Alexios had to accept the peace terms, because the Cumans were raiding his lands. Vukan broke the treaty when he seized Byzantine territory, and offered his son Euros as a hostage when Alexios retaliated. Vukan then invaded Macedonia, as Alexios faced the First Crusade and again, when the Normans attacked the Byzantines in 1106. This time, Vukan was defeated, and had to submit to Alexios, dying in 1112. Vukan's nephew, Euros I, was immediately attacked by the Byzantines. To gain Hungarian support, he married his daughter Jelena to the blind Bela II, whose first act was to execute the barons who had supported the blinding of her husband. Euros II was crowned Grand Prince in 1145, and his brother Belos brought a Hungarian army to help defend Serbia. The Byzantines defeated their combined forces at the Battle of Tara River in 1150, and Euros II swore loyalty to Byzantine Emperor Manaul I Manaul, then turned his attention to Hungary, and Dessau was made co-ruler in 1153. However, he ousted Euros for refusing to be a Byzantine vassal. Manaul reinstated Euros but grew tired of him, and appointed Belos in 1162. Belos, however, gave the crown to Dessau and returned to Croatia to rule. Manaul then appointed Stephen IV, but Belos captured him and sent him to the Byzantines. Manaul forced Dessau to swear humiliating oaths, and then appointed Tihomir and his brothers as rulers of Serbia in 1162. Nemanja, one of Tihomir's brothers, rebelled and deposed the others in 1166, taking the throne for himself. Manaul wanted Tihomir back on the throne, so he gave him an army. Nemanja defeated Tihomir at Pantino, and Tihomir drowned in the river Sitnica. His brothers were captured, but given land after pledging to keep the peace. Nemanja maintained his anti-Byzantine stance by joining a coalition with the Holy Roman Empire, Hungary, and Venice in 1172. However, Venice withdrew from the alliance due to an epidemic, and the Hungarian king Istvan II died, leaving the throne to the pro-Byzantine Bela III. Emperor Manaul's troops defeated the Serbian army, and Nemanja was taken to Constantinople as a slave. Nemanja befriended Manaul, and was recognized as Serbia's Grand Zupan after vowing never to attack the Byzantine Empire again. He focused on combating the Bogomil heresy until Manaul's death in 1180. Nemanja then allied with Bela III of Bulgaria, and advanced to Byzantine-held Sofia. However, a rebellion forced the Bulgarians to withdraw, leaving the Serbians to fight alone. Nemanja invited the Third Crusade to stay in Serbia in 1188, but Emperor Friedrich Barbarossa rejected his plan and attacked the Byzantines instead. Nemanja and Bela followed the Crusaders, until Friedrich made peace with Isachios II. The Byzantines attacked Serbia as soon as the Crusaders left for the Holy Land, forcing Nemanja to relinquish his conquests and recognize Byzantine rule. Emperor Isachios II also made Nemanja marry his son to the Byzantine Princess Eudokia, to split the Serbs from the Bulgarians. Nemanja became a monk in 1196, favoring his second son, Stefan, as his successor. However, his first son, Vukan, pledged allegiance to Emeric and seized the throne with Hungarian support. Kaloyan of Bulgaria retaliated by conquering the eastern part of Serbia, before Stefan could retake the throne in 1204. Boril succeeded Kaloyan, and while his brother Strez took refuge in the Serbian court, Stefan refused to help him retake the Bulgarian throne. Instead, Stefan reclaimed lost Serbian territories, while the Latin Empire attacked the Bulgarians. Stefan the First Crowned received a crown from Pope Honorius III in 1217, becoming the first Serbian king acknowledged by Rome. However, his son Radoslav was rejected as king in 1228 because his mother, Eudokia, had been exiled for adultery. A rebellion forced Radoslav to retire to a monastery 5 years later. Vladislav succeeded him and married Boleslava, the daughter of Ivan Asen II of Bulgaria. Both countries were ransacked by the Mongols in 1242, and Ivan was killed. His successor, Kalaman, made Bulgaria a Mongol vassal, ruining Vladislav's reputation. The nobles replaced him with his brother. The development of silver mines made Euros, I the Great, so wealthy that he invaded Hungary in 1268. However, he was captured and had to pay a ransom with all his wealth. Euros was also forced to marry his eldest son, Dragutin, to Catalin, the daughter of the Hungarian heir. Euros was outraged when his younger brother was named heir. Euros received a Hungarian army to defeat the Serbs at the Battle of Gacko in 1276, and forced his father to retire to a monastery. Dragutin broke his leg while hunting, and had to pass the throne to his brother Euros II, also called Milutin, when he fell ill in 1282. Dragutin continued to rule Siamia until his death. Euros captured parts of Macedonia and Albania from the Byzantines, but Emperor Mikhail VIII died before he could counterattack. Instead, it was the Bulgarians who attacked Serbia first. Euros and Dragutin defeated them, but a Bulgarian boyar convinced the Mongols to attack Serbia. Euros had to hand his son Dikansky over to the Golden Horde as a hostage to stop them. Euros made peace with the Byzantine Empire in 1299 and helped them defeat the Ottomans on the Gallipoli Peninsula. When Dragutin died in 1314, Dikansky rebelled when Euros took control of his father's lands. Dikansky was exiled to Constantinople and partially blinded, while his younger brother Konstantinos was made heir. Dikansky soon returned from exile and was pardoned, but his brother refused to submit. Euros II died in 1321, and Vladislav II was freed to rule Siamia with Hungarian help. Konstantinos was captured in battle in 1322, and according to some accounts, was nailed to a tree and cut in half. It is known for certain that his skull was turned into a wine goblet for the new king, Euros III, the same name Dikansky had taken. Euros III was challenged by his cousin Vladislav II, but Vladislav was defeated in battle in 1324 and forced to flee despite Hungarian support. Euros was angered when Mihail Asen III of Bulgaria divorced his sister Anna to marry the Byzantine princess Theodora. The Bulgarians and the Byzantines invaded Serbia in 1330, but Mihail was killed at the Battle of Velbasht, and Andronikos III withdrew. Despite driving off the invaders, Euros' advisors convinced his son, also named Euros, to imprison and strangle his father in 1331. Ivan Alexandar of Bulgaria married his sister Jelena to Euros IV to secure peace, but Serbia continued to raid Byzantine lands. Lajos the Great's huge army caused Euros the most trouble when it invaded and defeated him in the Sumajita region in 1336. Euros struck back by defeating both the Croatian and Hungarian armies, and then exploited a Byzantine civil war, conquering most of their Balkan territory by 1342. The Byzantines retaliated, defeating the Serbs with Ottoman help at the Battle of Stefaniana in 1344. Euros, or Dusan the Mighty as he was known, fought back by conquering Byzantine lands and attacking Bosnia. Euros was excommunicated by Constantinople when he took over the kingdom's churches and died in 1355, possibly from poison. Euros V was a weak ruler who depended on his mother, Galena, and his advisors. His uncle Simon, renamed Sinisa, made an unsuccessful attempt to seize the throne in 1356, and the empire fragmented as Serbia's nobles assumed control. Vukasin was made co-ruler in 1365, but he and most of the Serbian nobility were defeated and killed by the Ottomans at the Battle of Maritsa in 1371. Euros died childless soon after. The surviving Serbian nobles refused to recognize Marko as their ruler, and when Nikola Altimanovic emerged as the most powerful noble, Prince Lazar and Tvrt of Bosnia worked together to capture and blind him in 1373. Although Tvrt became titular king, Serbia's nobility prevented Lazar from reunifying the kingdom. Lajos I of Hungary died in 1382, and both Prince Lazar and Sultan Murad were killed at the Battle of Kosovo Field in 1389. Serbia was left with too few men to defend its lands, and Lazar's brothers, Androges and Dimitar, fled to Hungary with the country's treasury before the kingdom became an Ottoman vassal. The surviving Serbian nobles joined the Bayezid invasion of Wallachia, but were defeated and killed at the Battle of Ravine in 1395. Stefan the Tall's Serbian army fought alongside the Ottomans when they defeated Jusman's Catholic alliance at the Battle of Nicopolis in 1396. However, Bayezid's empire began to collapse when the Timurs invaded from the east, and were defeated at the Battle of Ankara in 1402. Stefan had fought well, and Bayezid granted him the title of despot. But Stefan accepted Hungarian suzerainty after his nephew Durad Brankovic and Bayezid's son, Suleiman, defeated him at the Battle of Tripolj in 1402. Sigismund died suddenly in 1427, leaving no children, and the throne went to Durad. The Ottomans captured Thessalonica in 1430, and while Durad paid a ransom to rescue the area's people, he could not afford the annual tribute and had to hand over his son as a hostage. He fled to Hungary when the Ottomans invaded in 1439, but returned to Serbia 2 years later to raise an army. Durad played an important part in the 1444 Peace of Szeged between Hungary and the Ottomans. He married his daughter Mara to Sultan Murad II, and gave lands to Janos Hunyadi in return for being allowed to rule Serbia. The truce did not last long, and Durad distanced himself from Hungary when it allied with Poland and attacked the Ottomans. Their crusade ended with an Ottoman victory at the Battle of Varna in 1444. Hunyadi was again defeated by Murad II's forces at Kosovo in 1448, but beat Mehmet II at the Siege of Belgrade in July 1456, allowing Durad to reoccupy Serbia before he died. Lazar's older brothers, Gur and Stefan, had been blinded in 1441 for plotting against Murad II. Lazar exiled them, and then poisoned his mother to secure his position. He offered to be an Ottoman despot in 1457, but died the following year. The blinded Stefan became co-ruler with Lazar's widow, but Jelena married her young daughter Maria to Timesvik, Prince of Bosnia, to hold onto the power. Matthias Corvinus of Hungary and Tomas of Bosnia dethroned Stefan in 1459. 2 months later, Timesvik surrendered the Serbian throne to the Ottomans and fled to his father's court, where he became the Ban of Bosnia in 1461. Mehmed the Conqueror invaded Bosnia after Timesvik refused to pay tribute to the Ottomans, captured him and beheaded him. As the Byzantine Empire crumbled, the stage was set for a new era of divided rule. The Fourth Crusade, initially aimed at Egypt, took a dramatic turn when Alexios, the son of the deposed Emperor Isakios II, promised the Crusaders a vast sum of gold and the reunification of the Eastern Orthodox Church with Rome if they helped him reclaim the throne. The Crusaders, enticed by the offer, marched on Constantinople and succeeded in 1204, marking the end of the Byzantine Empire as the world knew it. The city was plundered, and the empire splintered into 3 smaller states. The Latin Empire, led by Baudouin of Flanders, was established in Constantinople and controlled the lands around the Sea of Marmara. Meanwhile, the Empire of Thessalonica emerged along the Aegean coast, and the Empire of Nicaea formed in the northwestern part of Asia Minor. Each of these new empires faced its own challenges and battles. Bonifacio of Montferrat one of the Crusade leaders, founded the Kingdom of Thessalonica and married the widow of Isachios II, Margaret. However, his reign was short-lived. In 1207, the Bulgarian Emperor Kaloyan ambushed Bonifacio's army, and his head was sent as a grim trophy. Bonifacio's young son, Demetrius, inherited the kingdom, but found himself besieged by the Bulgarians. The Latin Empire's army came to his aid, but internal strife continued to plague the region. In 1216, Obert, the regent of Thessalonica, poisoned Emperor Henry of the Latin Empire and attempted to place Guglielmo, another of Bonifacio's sons, on the throne. However, Theodore of Epirus, a powerful neighbor, saw an opportunity and conquered Thessalonica. Guglielmo, with the support of the Holy Roman Emperor Friedrich II, eventually reclaimed the kingdom in 1222, but the damage to the region's stability was deep and lasting. The Latin Empire, meanwhile, struggled to maintain control over its fragmented territories. The new rulers faced constant threats from the surrounding powers, including the Bulgarian Empire, the Empire of Nicaea, and the Sultanate of Rum. The Latin emperors, including Henry and his successor, Pierre de Courtenay, worked tirelessly to consolidate their power, but were often met with resistance and rebellion. The Empire of Nicaea, under the rule of Theodore Laskaris and later John III Ducas Vatatzes, emerged as the strongest of the three successor states. They gradually reclaimed Byzantine territories and began to rebuild the empire's former glory. The Nicaean emperors focused on strengthening their military and political alliances, particularly with the Seljuk Turks and the Bulgarian Empire. By the mid-13th century, the Latin Empire was in decline. The Nicaeans, led by Michael VIII Palaiologos, captured Constantinople in 1261 and restored the Byzantine Empire. The Latin Empire was reduced to a few scattered territories and eventually ceased to exist. The Kingdom of Thessalonica, too, was absorbed into the restored Byzantine Empire, marking the end of a tumultuous period in history. The fall of Constantinople in 1204 and the subsequent division of the Byzantine Empire into smaller states left a lasting impact on the region. The once mighty empire was now a shadow of its former self, and the balance of power in the eastern Mediterranean shifted dramatically. The legacy of these events would resonate for centuries, shaping the political and cultural landscape of the Balkans and the Near East.